Hey guys, welcome back to Christian Encouragement Video Sessions. I'm sitting down here with my grandfather, Cecil Dozier. I'm going to call him Grandpa because that's who he is to me throughout this interview. So Grandpa, could you tell us what you're doing now? What are you doing with your time? What are you up to?
Well, I watch a lot of TV,
Yeah.
which is too much, and I eat, but anything beneficial I do, basically I have 3 single women here in a row that have no man to take care of them, so I do my best to take care of the yards, and when I was up to it, I didn't last winter because of the recuperating from the whatever I had at that time.
Yeah.
And but generally, if it's snow, I'll get their porches cleaned off and their walkways cleaned off.
Yeah.
If I feel like it this year, I'll get back to doing that. But last winter, I couldn't even do mine. So
yeah,
it's been one battle after another. After the heart surgery, I recuperated. I fought my way back, and it was a major project because it had to go in and open up my heart and take one valve out and put a pig valve in there. That's why I wink now when I talk. So, but then the other valve, they just had to put a ring around it so it would leak, and I still have a murmur, but I don't know which one it is. Anyway, that was a battle back from that, and I just got to where I was going real strong, and spent 3.5 hours tilling my neighbor's garden. That's something else I do some too to help out in that area. I used to, and I tilled her garden up nice because she's trying to turn her yard into a garden, and it took a lot of work to get it there. The last time I went for 3.5 hours. I worked it crosswords and back and forth and catty cornered, and I worked it down and raked it down, and I couldn't hardly make it back to the shed to put the equipment away. And when I went in to see the daughter and mother, said, "You need to go to the hospital." I said, "Well, honey, I'll go to the hospital every time I turn around." I said, "I'll see my doctor in about 11 days after I talked to him," and he said, "You got to go to the hospital." And I said, "That's why I got you. I don't want to run to the hospital all the time." He said, "Well, I'll do what I can." And then he went, sent me over to have x-rays taken, and I just walked in the front door when the phone rang. He said, "You got to get to the hospital. You got congestive heart failure." So I thought, "Oh, good." So I don't know what that was even, but I think I might have asked him, I said, "What's that?" And he asked, "Well, you got fluid around your heart and your heart ain't working right." I said, "Well, my heart wasn't working right." But anyway, I went to the hospital, and they did what they could, and they told me, one doctor told me, "You can't do anything." And my regular heart doctor told me, "You're going to do whatever you want to. But as soon as you get tired, you got to quit." I said, "You don't seem to understand, Doc. A lot of times I'm really tired and I ain't done yet." But I've tried to work within that. And that's just a small part of my history. I have been I've been put down, code blues, all kind of fun and games. But you know what? One thing I have to say is God has always been faithful and just, and He's always lifted me up. He's lifted me up from all. I don't know why these things happened. I suspect that after I'd been through what I did to start with the blood clots of the lungs and the unnecessary heart surgery I had, or lung surgery I had, and the pancreatitis and all that stuff when it went in and gutted me. And they took everything I didn't need, my appendix, my gallbladder, everything I could get by without, they took out. And because they don't have to do that surgery, I got a scar from clear around me where they busted, cut me wide open. And so anyway, it's just another recuperation thing, but I didn't know. I know I had fallen away from the Lord. And about for 5 or 6 years there, mine got to be about as rough as the guys I was working with. It's working around railroaders. There's an awful lot of them that can't hardly complete a sentence without a bad word in it. But anyway, I could cuss with the best of them, except one thing I could not do. I couldn't take the Lord's name in vain. That just stopped me cold. But anyway, I had a spell again with my lungs. I guess I was losing clots again. And This might have been before the pancreatitis, now to think about it, but it doesn't matter. It was just another episode. I went to, we were down in Independence down Thanksgiving, and I spent 5 days in the hospital down there, which I figured out that's just a good place to go to die. No, not even a good place to go to die, because in the 5 days I was there, they changed my top sheet once. Well, they changed my bottom sheet once and never changed my top sheet at all. And I laid in a puddle of water. I was sweating profusely, and they'd come in and roll me up out of the slop and shoot me in the butt with a needle, and then lay me back down in the mud to get water again. But anyhow, I got feeling well enough to come home, and I had a little shell on the back of the truck, and I laid it back there, and your grandmother drove me home. But about 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I was hurting, and I said, I got to go to the hospital. And she said, well, I can get up and take you. And I said, no, I think this is all God's plan. I said, no, I'll be fine. So I got down there, and they were remodeling the hospital. And they had the emergency room door. I know I'd seen it before many times. They had a phone by the door, and when you come there after hours, you just picked up the phone, and the nurse would answer. And there wasn't an emergency room there, but they'd come down and take you in. And but I got there, and the phone wasn't there. So I walked to the other end of the hospital, which is a long block. At that time, that parking lot went uphill and then downhill. I could see a light at the other end of it. But I got down where I could read it, it said laundry. And I said, that can't be right. So I went back to the other door, and that time I felt around for the phone, because I knew it had, but it's lit well enough I could see, but it wasn't lit up like it usually was. But I couldn't find the phone, and I started to go back down to take a check again, and I got about on top of the hill, and I was about to go down. I went back as I'd have went down if I'd went much further. I said, well, I'll just go down here and sit down by the door, and they'll find me in the morning. So I got down there, and there the phone was just big as life. So I picked it up. While I was up there on the hill, I come to Jesus. I said, Lord, I'm coming to meet you, and I'm not ready. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I can't describe it. People think I'm crazy, but a warm cloud just settled over me. Just a peaceful peace settled in, and it was amazing. So I know my God is faithful.
Yeah.
Even though we don't deserve it, He's faithful. And so I walked back down there to the door, and there the phone was. So I picked the phone up, and somebody come and got me. And about 6 weeks later, I got out of the hospital. But I was losing clots to my lungs and heart, and I was in a bad way. And they went in and put a strainer in there to stop the clots. And they didn't put a strainer in, they put a clamp over the vein. But anyhow, that got clogged up, and so then the skin started coming off my leg, and just looking dead. And they come in and said, if this don't get better by tomorrow, we're going to take that leg off at the hip. We're going to take the hip joint and everything, go up there and clean that area all out, because we've got to do something to stop this. And I thought, oh my. But the next morning they came in, and they had been taking my hip high plastic hose off of me and dumping my leg out on the bed, because it was just skin and stuff falling off of it. They took it off that morning, and the leg was getting pink. So they said, well, so they waited, and my leg became okay to some degree. I was never able to walk normal. I had to kind of just, if I use it like I did normally, it'd get logged up. But I prayed for 30 years or better for the Lord to heal my leg, and He didn't do it until it was His time.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I know my mama was praying for you, and I wish I'd asked her. I suspect that she finally says, Lord, whatever it takes, get him back.
Yeah.
And that's what happened on the parking lot that night. It was time.
Yeah. And you remember?
And so I had a praying mama, and very godly mother, and very forgiving, understanding woman, amazing woman, in my opinion. That's just, and I think about everybody ever knew my mother loved her, and because she couldn't find fault with anybody. In fact, that she had taught us not to find any fault. You couldn't talk anybody down around her. She said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You don't know what they've been through, you don't know what's been anywhere there until you walked in their shoes to know exactly what's been. You don't have any reason to criticize anybody.
Yeah.
But, and I had a lot of episodes since then. The heart surgery and the congestive heart. I've had two major back surgeries and the pancreatitis where they went in and gutted me and cleaned me out. But God's always lifted me up.
Yeah.
And I had a spell yesterday when I got done mowing. I was feeling bad and I thought, I almost called your mom and said, hey, they're taking me to the hospital, check me for this virus thing because I was running a fever. For me, a fever. It was running 98.8. And my normal for me, about 96. But I went to bed last night nervous about it a little bit. I wanted to go to bed. You know, I've lived long enough anyway. And, but I woke up this morning feeling pretty good and checked my temp, and my temp went back to my 96.6. And so anyway, God's taking real good care of me. As far as for God, I faithfully pay my tithe. I have for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but it's what I have. And and I got involved with Reverend Manning. If anybody ever gets to know Reverend Manning, they'll know he's a worker. Yeah, Reverend Manning's been doing mission work in Haiti for 60 years. He was called down there by Papa Doc, when Papa Doc was still in power. And he didn't know what to expect. He went down there and they took him up to the mansion, up to his office. And he told him, he says, the voodoo down here is just out of control. He said, I need someone to come in and evangelize this island and see if, and try to get people away from that. So when he first started there, he said that it didn't matter where you went on that island, you hear the voodoo drums. Now you don't hear them at all. But the thing that impressed me as much as anything, of course, is his wife, Sister Man, one of the most precious women I ever met in my life. Went with him a lot too, and the people down there just loved her. But he had made an appeal for rice because it was malnourished and hungry, and I was trying to decide whether I could afford to give anything. And while I was trying to decide, my wife was still alive then, we'd buy our rice out at Sam's and bring home a bunch of them in 14-gallon jugs and put it up. And I processed of putting that in them jugs, and I spilled jars, not jugs, and I spilled probably 2 or 3 pounds on the floor, and I just swept it up in the trash, dumped it in the trash, and about 2 hours later, Jeff, my son-in-law from Florida, sent me a video showing a little Haitian woman down on her knees in the dirt, had 2 or 3 little kids around her, of course, and she's picking up grains of rice one at a time out of the dirt, because that's all they had to eat. And it hit me pretty hard. I just threw away enough to feed her family for probably a month, the way they eat to get by with. So that cemented that for me, and so every month, and I just do what I can afford. With my tithes, I add extra enough to buy I think it's $38.90 for 100 pounds of rice. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to look at my checkbook to see.
It's a lot of rice.
But I send 100 pounds a month, and when I have more, I know when your grandma died and had that insurance money from hers, I sent several tons, and it felt really good to be able to send that much. And then when don't tell anybody, but when the government gave me that $1,200 I didn't need, nothing had changed for me, but I got that check anyway, or put it in my checking account. So that gave me a chance to buy 2.5 tons, because they had a special on rice at the time, maybe because of this, and were able to move it. They get 2.5 tons and send down there, and so it makes me feel good when I can give more. But I've been faithful to give that 100 pounds, which don't break me at all, and every month. That's part of it. My tithe plus that. And anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, and I'm still a believer. I don't get to do the things I should do, get to church and stuff, and as much as I should. But maybe that'll change too. After that last episode I went through with that person I married, and I was too ashamed to go to church.
Yeah.
But I haven't grown up much. I'm still a kid at heart, and people got to take me like I am. I talk too much, and nothing's off limits. I'll try not to offend anybody unless they need it.
Could you tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you were raised and how you were raised?
Well, I was born into a family of 13 kids. I was 8 of the 13, and I came along just about after the Great Depression. It was pretty much over, but there was still a lagging problems with it. Mm-hmm. We're going to see some of that now, I think, too, here as we're coming out of this thing with this. But we didn't have much. And the first year I really remember, and the first memory I have of my mama was when we lived up there. Dad was a sharecropper, which is a pitiful way to farm, because a third of your crop goes to the landlord, and that's generally where you're going to make your money. Yeah. So what we lived on, basically what we could get from selling eggs and milk and cheese and butter and stuff like that. I mean, cream, I get around to say that as well. We always had chores to do, we always worked, and but we didn't have anything fancy. But I think we was happier than most of people today. There's only one, let's see, it might have been two things, but one thing in particular I did not like. I love a fresh turnip right out of the ground, peeled and eat. It's still got a nice sweet taste to it. But let that rascal sit around while I'm trying to cook it like they do, it's like eating bitter. It loses its sugar content. And so I didn't care for cooked turnips, and seeing like we had that more than we needed to. We had what we had. We ate what we had. Yeah. And so I didn't get fat till I got away from home. None of us did. We got our portion of food, and more often than not, I'd go to bed at night with that gnawing in my tummy. Yeah. Wishing I had more, but I wasn't starving to death. That's healthy. And but we did what we had to. We lived out there, and a tornado came along in June and damaged the house we was living in. And all I remember about that tornado thing was we was on the hot road. I guess my sisters had loaded this up and taken us down to the neighborhood. I think the tornado was pretty much already gone, or shortly there, because my brother is 9 years old, and he's going to go back. He wasn't running, but he got back there by himself, and he seen the tornado, and he come chasing after the rest of us. But anyway, so we moved, and having moved that time of year, we didn't get our garden stuff, didn't get anything canned, there wasn't anything we could take with us. And we got to where we was at, and really didn't have anything to eat, but we found almost a 100-pound bag with very little use out of hog food out there in that barn. And Mom made much out of it. We ate hog food for a while, and it filled your stomach up, and as I don't remember being real bad. Yeah. But life wasn't so easy as maybe, but well, we was happy, and we worked hard. I could do more when I was, probably more when I was 8 than I can now, but I know I can by the time I was 10 or 11 years old. I could lift more and carry more and work harder. And tell you, I milked we had 10 cows to milk most of the time. Yeah, I milked 5 and my sister milked 5. I would guess we milked them, but we milked everything. We're still milking. Yeah. Anyway. So. But now, if I tried to sit down and milk one, I would have. I couldn't get by. Mom was always a believer, and Dad believed, but Dad always felt like he wouldn't go to church. He wasn't worthy of anything. He wasn't perfect in a lot of ways, but anyway. But I do know this: if we decided I'm not going to go to church today, he'd say, "Get busy and get ready to go to church with Mama." So she took us to church, And we met Brother Manning out there in what was Elk City when my next youngest brother was born with a heart defect. He had a hole between the chambers, and so it didn't work right. They had him on blood thinners. He was in and out of the hospital because of hemorrhage and stuff. And they were trying to raise enough money to send him to Mayo's. And Brother Manning came out and got involved in that, and he was, that's where I met him. And then he would come out there and haul all of us, about 10 miles to Independence, and he'd haul us in there in his little car pile where you get piled in like cordwood. He'd take us to church, bring us home, and come back and get us for evening services. He just made sure we was there. And then after Dad got used to us going, he hauled us in and most of the time and come back. And, I loved sports. I wasn't the greatest in the world, but I could hold my own. And,
he's famous. He's being modest. He has his name on a monument in Independence. That's how famous this guy is.
Well, I was just one of the bunch. Well, yeah, we did. That is my brag to claim, I guess. I was only involved with the last 2 years of the record, but we had won my final game. We won our 48th consecutive victory.
Yeah.
In AA, which at that time was the highest rank. Now they downgraded it, and but we went undefeated for 8 years, and it had been a lot more. But the final game of that one before the 8 years started, they lost that last game, or had. So
yeah,
they weren't easy. You'd think it should have been. We had, but the thing about it was, nobody likes a winner, except the people that's winning and their fans.
Yeah.
But all the schools would go help each other out, trying to figure out what to do to us to beat us. But my final year, in the 8 games we played, we outscored our opponents 227 to 27.
227?
Yeah, we scored 227 points
and
gave up 27 points.
Holy cow.
I had some of the old timers, the guys from the earlier team saying, well, I don't think you guys were the best team. I said, well,
200 and what was
probably
it,
not, but how many you can say you outscored your opponents 227 to 27?
Holy cow. There you go, guys.
We was dominant, to say
Yeah.
the least. And one of them games was a 7-6 game in the mud, in mud deep. Because coach wanted to postpone the game because it had rained, and we'd been practicing. It was so muddy, we was practicing in the gym, which you don't work as well.
Yeah.
But the team says, nope, we can beat you in the mud. We can negate your speed.
Yeah.
It did slow the guys down some. But we scored the first time we got our hands on the ball, and that team might not have scored now to think about it. But anyway, then we played the rest of it out there in the middle of the field to where you're sinking in about that deep. Before it's over, it was just like a slog wall out there because they keep working that one spot in the mud, and the grass was gone and it's just all mud. And they just ruined their field. I don't know how they got the field back for the next game.
So, so you said earlier God was a staple in your household as far as your mother goes. What was your relationship with God as a child, and when did it become solidified?
We weren't so much talking about God as it was living it.
Living it?
If you said anything negative about a person, Mom would get on you about it.
Yeah.
And a couple of the things I remember about my mother, this other thing, we didn't talk about sexual things. I think that's common nowadays, but it just didn't happen in households back then.
Yeah.
Or ours anyway. But before my first date, Mom called me aside and talked to me, and she says, she didn't tell me not to do anything. How did she word that? She says, oh, don't push a girl into anything she's not willing to do. And I says, you know what I mean? I said, yeah, Mama. And she said, and don't go all the way with a girl you're not willing to spend the rest of your life with. And that's just, you know what I mean? That's, yeah, I do. I was about 15, I guess, at the time, somewhere along there. And, but, because we weren't allowed to start dating until we were 16. The girls definitely couldn't date till they were 16. Us guys, I think I got a little jump on it about maybe about a year. But, and then the other thing was, she wasn't prejudiced. And she taught me not to be. And one of the good friends I had, well, I only knew him at Elk City maybe for 1 year, but Daryl Dortch was coming to town, and he was the only black person in that school. And Mom knew there's a black boy coming to school, and she took me aside and she says, took my hand and she held it out there and she says, "You see the color of your skin?" I says, "Yeah." It doesn't matter if it's black or red or yellow or whatever color it is. If you nick it, it's going to bleed red the same as the other colors will. That's just a covering, that's not the person.
Yeah.
And you treat everybody like you want to be treated. And she was serious about it.
Yeah.
She would not have a prejudice bone in her body. Now, Dad was Archie Bunker until that brother of mine that was so sickly because of his heart, spent some time in the hospital after hemorrhaging, and he had a black nurse taking care of him. And Mom and Dad fell in love with her, but his whole demeanor toward the blacks changed. And then he got to delivering equipment for John Deere to some black farmers and stuff, and he got to know them. He come to realize, hey, they ain't no different than us. But they had some of the things that was thought of back then was so ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm not so stupid, well, stupid too maybe, but it was a lack of knowledge. It was ignorant. And the things they believed was just ignorant.
Yeah.
But Dad got over that. The other thing about Dad was the church was, he never went with it, but boy, Mom, if we tried to balk on going, Lord, Dad would make us go. And the other thing nice about Dad was, while he was on his deathbed, about probably a week and a half, 2 weeks before he died, he came to Jesus. And that's for repentance. My brother, this Pastor Joe Dwight, he'd talked to him several times, and Dad say, I can't. I've been too bad. I'm too bad a person. I said, no, I had nothing to do with it, Dad. The worse you are, the more you have to be thankful for. Yeah. But anyway, he just didn't think he was worthy to be saved. Yeah. I said, none of us is worthy. But then he finally come to and gave his heart to Jesus, and I wanted to put on, because I'd never seen Dad like that. He was like a kid with a new toy. He was all aglow and glitter, and people come in and said, guess what? I just gave my heart to Jesus, I'm saved. And he'd tell everybody, he was just floating on a cloud, and praise God, he went to home and was saved. But
it's the Holy Spirit right there.
Well, I tell you, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't believe it. My dad, and Dad wasn't mean or bad, but I mean, when you'd walk in there and see him all aglow and giggling, and someone would walk in and you didn't know right off, and he'd be professing that I'd come to Jesus. I know. He was just like a little kid with a new Christmas toy. So, anyhow, Jesus he's been so faithful to me. I'll have times when I have extreme abdominal pain, and I can't stand it. I don't cry easy, but especially not with pain. I've been through a lot of pain. And I just said, Lord, would you just help me walk close enough, just let the hem of your garment brush me. I need your help. Pain's gone. I mean, that's not a fake, that's the way it is. Yeah. And he said, anyway, I love the Lord with all my heart, and I mess up my share. I really do. I got to go for mercy every day. I generally start my evening prayers. I got this friend of mine now. We get on the phone every night and have prayer service over the phone and do a Bible study during the week. Well, now we can. We've often for quite a while. We did last week. We did, but and we're studying 1 John, and it's been very uplifting. But anyway, we always get together and pray, or on the phone and pray, and agree with each other on the phone. Because the Bible says we're two or more gathered together in my name. Yeah. And like I told to work gathered by this line, this phone line. Yeah. So we're here together, and Lord's been good to us.
When was the first time you gave your life to Christ? When did you make that decision?
I was probably in the third grade, and I didn't really know much. I just knew what we were supposed to do, and I was all excited about it as a third grader out living in the country. I was going house to house telling them, you need to know Jesus, you know.
Yeah.
Most of them would give me a treat just to get rid of me. I went all over that countryside out there, wherever there's a house, I'd go up there. Went over that one morning, and then people invited me in. There's one of these people that had breakfast about 10 o'clock in the morning. And then got me done chores, and they come in, nothing to do. And I was always ready to eat because I never had too much to eat. So I went in and ate with them and told them about Jesus.
That's so cool.
But that's a kind of fever you ought to have, I think. But then it kind of, you know, I still believed, but I went when Reverend Manning was to take us into church, and I went to an altar call at an age when I knew for sure what I was doing, and re-upped, you know.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, and then my second coming to the Lord was out there in that parking lot a little after 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
In November, and I was dying, and I wasn't ready to go, and that was amazing to me. Cause I still remember that. That's why I was telling that nurse in the hospital. She was saying, "I've drifted away from the Lord." She said, "I don't know if I can get back there," and I said, "You don't have to go back. He's been following you all this time. He said, I will pursue you. I'll not forsake you. All you gotta do is just turn around and say, Lord, I'm here. Please forgive me." And that was after my heart surgery. She fell down across me and laid there and cried for quite a while and gave her heart to the Lord again.
Wow. So God used that. God used you being in the hospital, something that was like hopeless.
It was her turn.
Yeah.
And I think God just used that opportunity because I've been through that. I know from that parking lot experience. I know I didn't have to turn around and try to retrace my steps back to where I was. I just, Lord, forgive me. I'm coming to meet you and I'm not ready. And it was just instantaneous. That warm cloud settled over me.
Yeah.
Then after your grandma died, and I was devastated.
Yeah.
I was having trouble. Sleeping, and I'd get up and he'd say, "Come on, we'll walk." I'd make it across the street. That's when I generally he'd talk to me. And I'd collapse on that railing over there and just lay, cry a while, and he'd say, "Come on, I'll walk with you." So we walked together, and your mom was going, "You ever know you're at 3 o'clock in the morning out there walking by yourself?" And I said, "Hon, I'm never by myself."
Yeah.
Jesus is with me every step.
Yeah.
And we walked a lot together, and when I was struggling then, after trying to work the life insurance stuff out, we had that one accidental death policy on her about a month or 6 weeks before she crashed her motorcycle. And they kept wanting more information, and I thought, well, they're gonna try to keep from paying this. And I was worried about it, and he told me, "Would you quit worrying? Everything's gonna be okay."
Yeah.
We're sitting in an airplane scared to death because I hate to fly. I was scared stiff. I just was scared of flying. And he says, "Why are you afraid?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I'm afraid of these planes." And he says, "Don't you realize I'm the same God that's holding you in my hand right now that holds you in my hand when you sleep at night in your bed?"
Yeah.
Fear went away.
That's awesome.
And I could make fun of it then. I've seen some little old lady there one day. She's white-fisted, and she was just scared to death who she was. And I says, "You afraid of flying?" And she said, "I'm terrified." And I says, "You don't have to worry about a thing. Let me tell you the truth." He said, "The truth of the matter is this. I've watched enough Bugs Bunny to know that if you just get ready by the door, and when just before the plane hits the ground and jump out, you're going to be fine."
Gosh.
And she started laughing. I don't know if she got over being scared, but she at least relaxed a little bit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wasn't afraid of flying at all after that. Now my prayer when I get in the airplane is, "Lord, if something goes wrong, give me the strength to be in the courage in you to console people and maybe say, hey, this thing hits the ground, we're gone. Ain't nothing you can do about it. But if you haven't made your peace with God, you better do it now. It may be your last chance.
Yeah.
Let me be a help, not a hindrance. And that's my only prayer anymore when I fly. And I haven't flown now for a while. I guess it hasn't been that long. I thought it was longer than that. When did I go down to Florida last time? Tess told me it was, what, about a year ago? I don't think so.
Because you guys went last year. We're recording, sorry.
You're good. I think it was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Maybe even a year and a half.
I think Jim, what's his little boy's name?
James.
James.
Oh.
James is this little squirt. I think last ago, he beat me at every game of Uno we played. Grandpa would play games, it's okay. His little rascal beat me every time. He'd hoard cards, and then when it come time to switch, he'd wait till you got low, and he kept that switch with your partner thing. He'd play that card and give you all them cards he had hoarded. And I was starting over. I might have one or two left. He's a pistol. I love my grandkids. I really, really do. All of them. Well, you guys are okay too. You know, you've been.
We'll edit that in.
Been a blessing. Been a blessing. All of you have been a blessing.
Yeah.
And
you've been a blessing to us too.
it's been well, we're just a close knit family.
Yeah.
And that's the way it ought to be. There ain't anything I needed. If I needed it, I could ask it, and you guys would come over and help me out. I know, because I've seen that happen. I try to get by so I don't have to pester you all the time, but I know if I do have a need, all I gotta do is, hey, help me, and you're here, so.
Yeah.
I am blessed. I am blessed a lot, and I'm lifted up with the Lord every day. He sees me through whatever's happening, and
Yeah.
I started out last night with that fever, and I didn't know, oh boy, I need to go to the hospital. If I'd called your mama, she'd have took me up to where I wanted to go or not.
Yeah.
And I finally went to bed, and I said, Lord, I'm just going to give it to you, and if I make it to morning, that's fine. And I woke up this morning, and my temperature's back normal, and I lost my headache and dizziness. I went out to mow yesterday, and the only reason I could get it done was I used the mower to stabilize myself. I had vertigo so bad, I have to use my walking stick to get around the house, keep from falling down. But that's still a thing I fight some, and that comes up and flares up once in a while. But it's life's life.
Yeah.
And I'm already 52 and doing pretty good.
52. So, do you have anything just to like pinpoint to encourage the people watching this?
10 points?
Pinpoint.
Oh, pinpoint. Okay. I don't have 10. I can only tell you this from experience, and I know it to be true. You cannot fail going with God. Set your sights on the Lord, and everything else will be taken care of. Don't worry about it. He'll take your fears away. He'll take your worries away. And if you're still struggling, he'll struggle with you. He'll be there right there with you to help you. Even to the hardest times there was. I lost my mama, that was heartbreaking. I lost my wife, that was heartbreaking. But he was there with me to comfort me the whole time. You can't, I don't care what anybody tries to tell you that it ain't real or whatever. God is real. He is the real thing, and he's there for you if you'll let him be. And you can't go wrong by accepting him as your Savior and ask forgiveness and become a part of the God family. And he will be your Lord and Savior and walk every step with you the rest of your life. And that don't mean everything's going to be perfect, because it rains on the good and the bad alike. But he'll see you through whatever comes your way. I know from my own history, I'd venture to say there's not 10% of the countries that's been through what I've been through. I started out when I was 28 years old with blood clot problems. And programmed on down through every. And the fact is, they retired me at 31. Wouldn't let me come back to work. They called me in and said, listen, we're killing you down here. We're going to put you out. But it was hard too, because of course, the best laid plans we have, you want to hear God chuckle telling your plans.
Yeah.
Because my plan was that my wife would stay at home and raise the kids, or take care of the kids and keep house and fix meals, and I would help her when I was at home, and I would work and bring home the groceries. And it got reversed. I was at home, taking care of the kids and doing the cooking, having help us. So started out, you don't believe me, ask your mom some of the things I made to start with. Just some experimenting, it was kind of, got to watching these cooking shows. The funniest thing I've done was they was always putting wine in the stuff to make it better. I didn't have any wine, but I had some bourbon up there, so I dumped some bourbon on there. It did not work. I couldn't even eat it.
Wow.
That's the last time I tried that stupid stuff. But anyway, but we got by, and it was harder than Grandma to start with too, because she wasn't prepared to work. She quit in the middle of her senior year to get married, and when I asked her to marry me, I said, let's get married, I don't want. She said, hon, you realize what they'll say about me if I quit in the middle of my senior year to get married? And I said, yeah, but we know it's not right. So
Yeah.
she agreed to do it, and God helped us out. We was married 9 months and 13 days later, we had our first baby. So it ain't my fault. She was a, nope, don't touch me. Anyway, but she didn't give me any false hopes. She was very stern on the fact of what was okay and what wasn't.
Yeah.
And I got to give her credit for that, not me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love her. And then the miracle happened when she gave herself to the Lord. I can tell you now, if you're going to win somebody to the Lord, introduce them to Jesus and let Jesus do it. Because no matter what you say, it's not going to carry the weight that Jesus does. And when your mother and her sister talked her into doing that study in John, St. John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. She's sitting here doing it, because she's going to study. She didn't want to do it, but she's going to study and do the whole thing. She's going to do it. And I was in watching TV, and I heard her crying. I come in, I said, what's the matter? She said, I didn't know Jesus was God. And I said, yeah, hon. Turned her life around. She was never the same person. She had always had problems with bipolar and having fits for no reason. She got mad at me twice after that and got in my face and hollered. Didn't get 2 steps away till she spin back around and said, honey, will you please forgive me? You didn't have that coming. I never heard them words before she found Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus changed her life.
Yeah.
Amen.
How do you know you're saved? You don't continue to sin like you did. You aren't habitually sinning anymore. But all of us stub our toe now and then. I think maybe I'm the only one that does, but got to go for forgiveness. But I hold on to that verse that God says, if you repent, you're unfaithful and just to forgive you.
Yeah.
So I know He forgives me, but I know by my life He forgives me because I shouldn't even be here, but He keeps lifting me up. And I mowed 4 yards the other day. It took me 2 spells. I worked about 2.5 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. And I was tired
Yeah.
when I quit, but He got me through it. You know, I had to have it done. But the other thing I quit doing it because I don't know if my neighbor got me doing this down the street here. I was going to go mow her yard one Saturday, and she says, you know, I appreciate what you do, would you not do that? Because the Bible says, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. And
No, you were mowing on a Sunday.
Huh?
You were mowing on a Sunday?
No, on Saturday. Saturday's the Sabbath. And so I was confused, and so I called your mom. I says, I thought we worshipped on the Sabbath, and says no, we worship on Sunday.
Yeah.
That was to celebrate the rising of Jesus Christ. He rose on Sunday, but I went back to the Bible and did some study, and I couldn't find anywhere in the Bible where it said it's okay not to do what God had said. Hey, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy.
Yeah.
Remember this day, because he did creation, and then on the 7th day, which was Saturday, he was Saturday now, but he rested, and he says, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. And I have not seen any place where that's been revoked. So I figure if he said it back then, it's probably just meant today. So that's why I try to get as much done as I can, because I knew today was gonna be a good day to go out and do it, but I got done what I could, because I know it started out to just kind of honor her, and then after I studied it a while, I said, you know, Lord, I don't see where you told us not to do that anymore, so. For the years, I just know if God can forgive me and love me, the kind of person that I am, everybody's eligible. There's no one that's not eligible. All they gotta do is come to, seriously, not come and say, oh, I'm gonna ask you to forgive me, so I'll be okay and I can do what I want. No, come seriously and repent of the life you're living.
Yeah.
And ask forgiveness, and you'll be a child of God. Just, you don't have to jump through any hoops, don't have to do anything, except be honest and straightforward. And then, try to live it, you know. You live it then. Yeah, do we falter? I don't know about anybody else. There might be somebody that's perfect all the time, but I still mess up. I holler at the TV, that's why I got ears on it now. You notice the ears on the TV?
Yeah.
I was kind of embarrassed hollering at the TV, and that thing can't hear me anyway. So I got ears put on it now, so I know it can hear me. It's okay if I holler at it.
Thank you guys for watching. If you know anyone who'd be encouraged by this, share it. If you don't, go ahead and share it anyway. We're glad you joined us this week. We'll have another one out next week.